I have a joke to tell you guys. There was a deaf man and there was two deaf men going on a long trip. So the deaf man was driving, the hearing man was waiting, sitting in the passenger seat, and all of a sudden a cop started to come up on them. The cop pulled them over, so they went off to the side of the road. And the deaf man looked over at the hearing person and said, "Check this out." So the cop got out of his car, walked up, and he started talking. But obviously I couldn't understand it because I'm deaf. I can't hear. So the cop pulled out his notepad, wrote something down, and showed it to the deaf person. Said that he was speeding. So the deaf man said, "I'm deaf. I don't understand." So the cop gestured to the deaf man, "You need to drive slower. You can't drive fast." So the deaf man said back to the cop, all right, I will. I understand it." The hearing man looked over and was in awe that he had pulled that stunt off. But so they got back on the road and continued driving. The deaf man was driving really fast. And again, they got pulled over. This time it was a woman cop that came up. And she looked really mean. And she came up and started yelling at him. And the deaf man looked back at her and gestured, "I'm deaf, I can't hear." So the cop gestured back, "You see your speedometer there? You can't go above 75. You must stay below it." It's like the hearing man looked over at the deaf man and said, "You got off again?" And so the deaf man was finally tired, so they decided to switch drivers. So now the hearing man was driving. So while the hearing man was driving, he started thinking, this deaf man, he got off 2 times. So he's lucky. So the hearing man was driving and speeding, and again they got pulled over. So he looked over to the deaf man and gestured to him, "Check this out." The deaf man was sleeping and he woke up to look at the situation. So the hearing man was sitting waiting for the cop to come up. And the cop came up, rolled the window down, and the hearing man gestured to the cop, "Oh, I'm deaf, I can't hear." So the cop was like, "Oh, alright, cool." And he started signing to him, because he knew sign language. So the hearing man looked at the cop, and he was like, "Oh, no." Because obviously the hearing man didn't know sign language and couldn't sign back to the cop to what he was saying. And the deaf man was sitting next to him, the two of them that were on the trip. The deaf man looked back and was like, started laughing and cracking up. And that was the joke, that the deaf man could get off with the excuses, but the one time that the hearing man caught up, he didn't get off with the excuse. That's it.